Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly mind-bending 1924 lecture by philosopher Rudolf Steiner. We're exploring a paradigm-shifting concept that completely reimagines the Earth. We're talking about looking at our planet not as a simple sphere, but as an absolute masterpiece of cosmic architecture. Now, I know it sounds a bit crazy at first, right? But let's just dive right in and ask a question that really disrupts our most basic assumptions about the planet we call home. What if we treated the Earth as a magical geometric manuscript that's just waiting to be decoded? Steiner challenges us to essentially abandon the standard scientific model we were all taught back in grade school, and instead look at the physical world through a completely different, highly structured lens. Section 1. Not a sphere. Cosmic forging. So Steiner argued that the Earth wasn't just some condensing balloon of gas that cooled down over billions of years. Instead, he proposed it was violently flung together from all corners of the universe, kind of like a giant cosmic puzzle. He posited that our planet's true foundational form is actually a tetrahedron. If you're rusty on your geometry, that's a regular solid made of four triangular faces meeting at a point, a lot like a pyramid. Steiner firmly believed this shape was intentionally pushed together by a master cosmic geometrician. And then, over time, the sheer force of the cosmos caused those flat triangular faces to bulge outward and the straight edges to curve, which gives us the shape we actually live on today, a rounded-out tetrahedron. And this really brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between these two dominant worldviews. On one hand, you have the modern scientific view, right? A cooling, condensing globe of gas that naturally just rounded itself out over time. But on the other side, you have Steiner's highly intentional view of four massive cosmic triangles violently flung together from the very edges of the universe. He even compares it to boys cutting out cardboard triangles and gluing them together to build a 3D model. It's a wildly different way to think about the ground beneath our feet. Section 2. The Earth's leaky edges, the cosmic seams. You see, this rounded tetrahedral shape isn't just some abstract philosophical idea for Steiner. It is absolutely crucial for understanding the Earth's violent geological activity. He actually mapped this tetrahedron right onto our globe. He placed its massive triangular base stretching right across Africa, South America, and the Southern Ocean. The apex, the very tip of this cosmic pyramid, points directly toward Japan. And the edges? Well, they run perfectly along our major mountain ranges. One edge drops from the Colima volcano straight down the Andes to the South Pole. Another cuts from the South Pole all the way up to the Caucasus Mountains, and a third sweeps right across the Alps to the Rhine. According to Steiner, these aren't just mountains. These are literally the physical seams of our planet. Here is where things get really fascinating with the step-by-step planetary construction. When these four massive cosmic puzzle pieces were flung together and cemented, the master builder's glue didn't hold perfectly everywhere. The seams just didn't completely seal, and that left these vulnerable, incomplete, and leaky edges stretching for thousands of miles across the globe, exactly where those major mountain ranges and fault lines lie today. Section 3. Cosmic heat and volcanoes. Fire from the stars. This leaky seam concept brings us to Steiner's totally unique explanation for why volcanoes erupt. He insisted that they absolutely are not powered by a molten core deep within the Earth. Instead, they're powered by immense heat pouring in from the heavens. Steiner explicitly states, quote, "At these leaky places, it is possible for the cosmic heat from the sun to get into the Earth more than at other places." So according to this lecture, when the stars align in a certain way that allows the sun's heat to beam down unimpeded, that concentrated cosmic heat penetrates these badly cemented mountain ridges. The heat goes underground, softens the Earth, builds up massive pressure, and eventually triggers those fiery eruptions bursting back out through the leaky seams. To really back up this idea of stellar influence on earthly disasters, Steiner shares this incredibly amusing tale about a man named Rudolf Falb. Falb was actually a priest who abandoned his calling to become a bit of a rogue researcher. He started studying star constellations and claimed that when the stars supported the sun's heat, it didn't just trigger volcanoes, it actually caused explosive gases in mines to ignite, stuff they called fire damp. Now, Falb was brilliant, sure, but also incredibly vain. To prove his predictive genius to high society, he actually tipped off a newspaper to deliver a fake telegram about a mine explosion straight to his podium, right in the middle of a lecture. It was a complete theatrical stunt, obviously, but for Steiner, it perfectly highlighted this core concept that cosmic events directly trigger catastrophes here on Earth. But setting theatrical stunts aside for a moment, Steiner actually had deep structural reasons for his theory. He completely rejected the idea of a liquid fire core. Along with great thinkers like Goethe, he argued that the Earth couldn't possibly be molten inside. Why? Well, because the immense subterranean pressure would just compress any fluid right back into a solid state anyway. Plus, if the inside were entirely liquid metal or magma, the planet will be mathematically impossibly heavy. So, following his logic, the heat of a volcano simply has to be coming from the outside in, not the inside out.
Section 4. The Sun as a Vacuum. The Suction Sphere.
Now, to really understand this cosmic engine that's driving the whole system, Steiner shifts our view completely away from the Earth and focuses on the Sun itself. He anchors this part of his lecture in the 1840s, introducing us to a physicist named Julius Robert Mayer. Mayer looked up at the sun and asked a pretty logical question: why doesn't it run out of heat? He theorized that massive swarms of comets must constantly be flying into the sun to act as fuel. This idea was so radically ahead of its time that people actually thought Mayer was losing his mind, and he tragically ended up in an asylum for it. Though, as you might guess, today science recognizes him as a pioneering genius and has built monuments in his honor. Steiner, however, took Mayer's brilliant idea and pushed it even further. We all know modern science tells us the sun is a burning globe of fiery gas. But Steiner argued no, it's actually an empty, vacuum-like space. He described it as a cosmic pearl that exerts this massive suction force. So instead of burning its own gas, it constantly sucks in fine, ethereal comet material from the deep universe for nourishment. The sun is essentially inhaling cosmic matter and then radiating that immense energy back out toward us, where it sneaks right into the leaky seams of our tetrahedral Earth.
Section 5. The Geometry of You. As above, so below.
To wrap this all up, let's zoom all the way in from the vastness of the cosmos to see how this grand planetary architecture physically manifests right inside your own anatomy. Steiner taught that our physical bodies are literal, direct copies of this surrounding geometry. He pointed out that the top of the human head is round, directly mimicking the vast spherical dome of the universe pressing down from above. But below that, right where the jaw begins, the bone structure is distinctively triangular. He asserted that our jawbones are literally shaped by the upward-reaching forces of that triangular, rounded-out tetrahedral Earth beneath us. We are, quite literally, a walking microcosm of the universe's interaction with the planet. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. The next time you look in the mirror, will you just see a face? Or will you see the triangular geometry of the Earth and the spherical dome of the heavens, quietly reflecting the hidden, magical mathematics of the cosmos right there in your own jaw? It is an absolutely fascinating way to view our world and ourselves. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning what you think you know.